So many of you guys may be entitled to extra stimulus checks this month, and millions of people will see a big benefit increase for the month of May. Yes, folks, stimulus checks are on the way. So you want to continue watching this video to see what President Biden, the Democrats like Nancy Pelosi, are saying about the fourth stimulus check. No doubt about it, May is going to be a pivotal month for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. That's called a SNAP Benefits. The program currently helps more than 41 million people avoid food insecurity. And as America's biggest anti-hunger initiative, SNAP was expanded to help the country cope with the crisis. And now that expansion appears to be winding down, which might indicate a shift toward a new stage in the ongoing public health emergency. If you've been receiving extra crisis-related benefits and your state recently called off its own public health emergency, some of you may be surprised if your EBT card is reloaded with a lower amount in May than you are used to. Other people might learn this month that they're eligible for extra benefits for the first time. There will also be others who won't see any changes in their benefits at all. The maximum monthly benefits will be the same in May, as they have been since last year when Biden approved the largest COLA in SNAP history. So, here is the most that the SNAP program will pay to a family of 4 in the month of May. If you're living in the 48 states, the most you can receive is around $835 in benefits. Now, last year, President Biden issued an executive order that led to the expansion and extension of those programs, and many states are still beefing up payments to the residents who receive SNAP benefits. Those who don't receive benefits or who receive less than $95 per month are eligible for enhanced payments. Those who receive $95 or more will continue to receive their usual benefits. Last month, the Department of Health and Human Services extended the federal public health emergency declaration, which means the federal government will continue funding emergency allotments for the states through at least July 15th. If you're wondering when in May you can expect to receive your benefits, take a look at your state's SNAP benefit page. And if you're wondering when in May you can expect to receive your benefits, take a look at your state's SNAP benefit page. You will find the most important information you need to know about your monthly benefits on there. In most cases, the schedule is determined by the last numbers of your benefits number or case number, but it varies by state. In some states, EBT cards are reloaded according to social security numbers or last names. Some states pay on the first of the month, others in the first few days, and others not until the month is over. Now, President Biden is now initiating plans to replenish the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, the U.S. emergency oil supply that the country is currently tapping into at historic rates to boost the oil supply in the market and mitigate price at the pump. And the Department of Energy announced today that it's beginning a buyback process with a call for bids to repurchase 60 million barrels of oil. Gas prices were already high before the crisis, which sent prices at the pump hurtling upward even more. The call for bids from companies will take place in fall 2022, and it's intended to bolster the nation's reserves for future years. President Biden announced earlier this year that the United States would release 1 million barrels a day from the reserve to help alleviate gas prices. In its news release announcing the plan, the Energy Department noted they expect oil prices and demand to be significantly lower after the fiscal year 2023, although it remains unclear how long gas prices will stay above an average of $4 a gallon nationally. Folks, that's all the news about the fourth stimulus check that I want you to know. If you have any more questions about the fourth stimulus payment, leave them in the comments.
Great to be here, Mr. President. Thank you for including me today. And to our friends at United Performance Metals, congratulations. Not often you get the President of the United States coming to your shop floor. Looked like you cleaned it up a little bit for him, too. I walked in and said, you could eat off this floor, and one of the workers said, don't try it. But you could, right? Listen, it's great to be here. This compact that we're talking about today, the Additive Manufacturing Forward, AM4 compact, is a great idea because it's going to help create more jobs here in America. I appreciate that GE Aviation, Honeywell, Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, and Siemens Energy have now decided to make a conscious effort to focus on U.S. suppliers. It sends a strong message, by the way, all around the world, to our allies and adversaries alike. As some of you may know, Congress is in the middle of trying to conference, which means find a resolution between differences of a House and Senate bill on competitiveness. In fact, just this past week, we finished all of the preliminary work on it. We're going to conference next week. I'm one of the conferees for that legislation. It's about competitiveness, and it would complement the AM Forward Pact that's being announced today. All the more important that we get it done. By the way, innovation is where manufacturing happens. Let me give you an interesting statistic. Since 2003, U.S. R&D expenditures in China have grown 13.6% annually on average, but in the United States, just 5% on average. We got to turn that around, don't we? If we want America to remain the innovation leader, and we saw some great technology just a little while ago, this additive manufacturing, we got to make sure that we are making things here in America, because that's where the research follows. That's where the dollars are that are going to make us competitive. This bill also appropriates $52 billion to
Senator Rounds, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, gentlemen, thank you very much for your service to our country. I want to take this opportunity to thank you for what you've been doing to make sure that the B-21 bomber program stays on time, on target. Folks in western South Dakota, Ellsworth Air Force Base, are truly looking forward to getting their first look at it, hopefully later on this year. And they most certainly want to be a part of the program, and they want to make sure that they're in a position to welcome the new crews and the new teams on board, and appreciate your cooperation and working with them to make sure that they know what to expect in terms of schools and so forth. And I'm sure we'll be able to work through all of that to make sure there's no delays in that. The B-21 seems to be an example of a platform plan which is working according to schedule. When I look back at some of the other challenges that we have, it would seem that while we're going to be able to procure the B-21s in some reasonable fashion, we're probably going to need more than what we had originally estimated. General Brown, would you talk a little bit about what the expectations are for the B-21? And I think originally we talked about a plan in which we would buy perhaps 100 of them. But it'd be fair to say that in any of the new estimates, with near-peer competition growing, that our demand for that particular platform will be greater than what we originally anticipated?
Senator, part of that is the ongoing analysis that we do to determine not only what we've already decided on, but where we might need to, in this case, procure either more B-21s or other capabilities to complement the B-21. And this is one of the operational imperatives that we are working through to actually look at a crewed and uncrewed.
Incentivize the domestic semiconductor industry through the CHIPS Act. As the President will tell you, this is very important to Ohio. We just have an announcement by Intel to make a $20 billion investment in the Columbus area. But he said it could be about $100 billion if we get this CHIPS Act passed, which is part of this competitiveness legislation. That's really important, not just to Central Ohio, not just to the Buckeye State, but to our entire country. All of these investments in our R&D ecosystem will boost our competitiveness. But it was not going to work if we're not protecting ourselves better from the bad actors, particularly China. And through programs, China comes into our country, finds the best research, the best researchers, pulls that research and uses it to fuel their own economy and their own military. We've got to stop that. That's why the Bipartisan Safeguarding American Innovation Act is included in this competitiveness legislation. This legislation is a result of a year-long investigation